Retiring was never part of the plan. All the great photographers I've had the privilege of knowing, none ever retired. Disease took some quickly. Others literally died with their camera in their hands. Retiring was never on the table. Now, here I am, suffering slowly through 2 years of chemotherapy, unable to focus for more than a few minutes at a time, sleeping 14 or more hours a day, unable to even be around other people because of this risk of infection. I sit here alone with the few thousand pictures I have left. There were many, many more. I have none of the negatives from the film years, and numerous digitized files. Whole projects have been lost when hard drives crashed. There are times when I fear and feel as though everything is being taken from me. What you see here are some of the most memorable people I photographed from the earliest days with a meager 5 megapixel camera to a slightly higher 13 megapixel camera. These pictures cover the years from 2004 to 2012, with a few exceptions to make up for lost files. Each of these photos have been remastered, some from the original RAW files if I still have them, others from high-resolution TIFF files, some of which had to be recolorized for this collection. Going back through all these files, I realized how many had been shot in front of plain white walls or backgrounds and empty spaces. While that might have been acceptable for some purposes, it doesn't work for this one. To address this problem, we did two things. First, we used Adobe's new Firefly AI embedded into the most recent Photoshop beta to create alternative backgrounds for many of the photos. Some created elaborate scenes, while others were as simple as slinging paint on those bare walls. Then we masked over square waves, using pen light as an overlay to emphasize the digital world that is now dominating our lives. There are times when the overlay is distracting. A few times it censors what would have otherwise been an unacceptable image for this platform. And occasionally, the overall effect made an ordinary image miraculous. I've been using Photoshop since version 3, back when we had to have printed images scanned before they could be digitally manipulated. The most recent AI beta may be the best version of the application yet, and I'm excited to see how it continues to evolve. When I first moved to digital cameras 20 years ago, I was interested in two things. One was how responsive it could be to ambient light. This reminded me of my late friend and mentor, Helmut Newton, for whom the use of natural light was the ultimate form of expression. Then, I was interested in the fact that all digital images are inherently shot in color, Black and white images require conversion, and there are as many different conversion formulas as there are opinions. I've utilized multiple different methods over the years, which becomes evident when looking at images shot 2 and 3 years apart. That was one of the reasons I wanted this collection of memories to be in color. Where possible, I've gone with the brightest color profile I could find. Why? Again, because it's more a reflection of the digital reality of photography. Using or emulating film today makes a photograph a novelty, like using wet plates. Yes, this is a soon-to-be lost skill in manipulating film, and it has its artistic purposes. But as a commercial form of media, film is just no longer competitive. I know a lot of people wonder if AI will replace photography altogether. As a commercial medium, it may. But the one thing AI will never be able to do is capture the memories that come with photos such as those we're seeing here. Commercial photos have been good to me. For many years, they paid the bills. But none of the images you see here are commercial. These are all pictures of women who have been friends on one level or another. Of course, people change with time. Many have moved to other parts of the country. Several are mothers now, and a few are even prosperous entrepreneurs. There are some I'm still in contact with, even though my current condition doesn't allow me to be close. Others I've lost track of along the way. Back in the early 1980s, Hal David and Albert Hammond wrote a song that became a hit for Julio Iglesias and Willie Nelson. The lyrics stick in my head as I look at these pictures. To all the girls I've loved before, who traveled in and out my door, I'm glad you came along. I dedicate this song to all the girls I've loved before. Another verse says, to all the girls who cared for me, who filled my nights with ecstasy, they live within my heart. I'll always be a part of all the girls I've loved before. The young women in these pictures are all amazing. They've taken me into their circle of friends. Several have fed me when they knew I hadn't eaten. Many helped me get from one place to another, including all the way out to Los Angeles. They've played along when I asked to cover them in silly things like paper plates, spinach, and cheese dust. They've wandered into freezing cold water, suffered through impossibly early call times, entire days full of shooting, covered in mud, paint, and latex. They've kept me company when I was lonely, taken me into their homes and allowed me to be an intimate part of their lives. How could I not love them? And there are so many more than what we show here. I capped this collection at 150 photos. This has taken weeks to curate. Search for pictures that I remember taking but couldn't find. Each image was carefully edited. Sometimes so painstakingly that I could only do 1 or 2 pictures a day. And still, there are so many more people who have at least momentarily been friends. And now, all I have left are these memories. No one sits cross-legged in the middle of my bed talking about life until 4 in the morning. I no longer live in a place where it makes sense to call and say, "Hey, my friend and I have had a little too much to drink. Can we hang out with you until it's safe to drive?" If we were to hang out, I'd more likely be mistaken for a grandfather than a friend. Gone are the days when I could hang upside down from a tree limb, or climb halfway up a cliff, or stand waist deep in mud just to get the right angle on a shot. And while I still stubbornly prefer to work off tripod, even that has its limited days ahead. My hands shake too much. My balance is too uncertain. My phone is my only camera now, with lenses stronger than any I ever owned. To own another camera and all the necessary gear would require an investment I would almost certainly never be able to pay back. So I sit here with all my memories, remembering the people more than the pictures, cherishing the friendships that once were, often wishing I could be a better version of that younger person now. They are all still in my dreams. I see their faces, I hear their voices, and in some way, I still love